This is Tom O'Neil and Pete Hammond of The Envelope discussing that Oscar Best Actress race. Looks like Kate Winslet's ahead. Pete, she's got all the tea leaves. She has an accent. She's naked in the movie. She ages in the film, and it's a Holocaust movie. And she's due. It's her year. She's got the momentum. But you and I know that this race really isn't over, is it?
No, I think SAG, for a change, really changed this up. I was with Kate Winslet all the way. I thought this was totally her year. But to see Meryl Streep, who now has her 15th nomination for Doubt, gets so excited. It looks like she's never been nominated for an award before that run she made up there. Did you see the faces of the audience? They were just loving her. And she was so excited, and it was infectious. I think, even though you can say other award shows may not have that big an impact, this was SAG. I think a lot of voters were there on watching this on television as well. And I think that this is a two-horse race right now.
I think that Meryl reminded us in that moment you're talking about when she was so giddy with delight that it's right. She may have the most Oscar nominations ever at 15, but she hasn't won in more than 25 years. Yeah. And all that excitement on her face was, what? It reminded us, that's right, she never wins anymore.
No, what's fascinating is Meryl Streep herself says this over and over and over again. Yes, she's a big winner. She's had 2 Oscars and all these nominations. She says, I've also lost more than anybody in the history of the Oscars in acting, which is true. She sat there and had the losing experience more than any other actor.
12 times, 14 nominations before this, 2 wins.
Yeah, and so, it's a very interesting proposition. If the Academy has it in their head that she's overdue for another win and that it's fun to watch her win. On the other hand, Kate Winslet would become tied with all-time losers, Thelma Ritter and Deborah Carr, and nobody really wants to see that happen.
But do you think they really know that at the Oscars? I don't think the Oscar voters do. We know that because we count these things.
Yeah. No, and I do think, though, in the back of their head, they have that Revolutionary Road performance, too, and they said, wow, this is sort of her year.
But in the back of their heads, they have Mamma Mia, too, and even if they didn't like it, we know that Meryl showed us this range she had this year.
Yeah, that she can really sing. Do you think anybody else, if these two are getting votes, and it looks like it's going to be a tight race between them, is there somebody that could sneak in the middle and really shock us?
I thought for a while Anne Hathaway, but
they hate the movie. The Academy members out there, you hated Rachel getting married. I mean, and that's not my opinion. I do not think Anne Hathaway has much of a shot here, and the other nominees too are probably
Angelina
also
Jolie. Forget it.
Well, she's wonderful in Changeling, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And I really think this is between Meryl and Kate, and I would not be shocked at all to see Meryl win.
I had an Oscar voter tell me just yesterday that he's voting for Meryl because he said, look, Meryl gives this dynamic, full-bodied, impactful performance, and the problem with Kate is that it's very, very subdued and reactive.
Right, that's true. The thing is, though, and as you know, I've been following this with the Reader, and Academy members, I've talked to so many of them, really like that movie. And that's going to help her there, because they like the movie that she's
nominated
in.
for Best Picture. Doubt is not. So let's go to my babe factor. We know that, because we track these things, in the past 15 years of Oscar history, only 2 women past the age of 50 have won Oscars. Of course, Helen Mirren and Judi Dench. Helen Mirren was still a bit of a babe herself. She was flashing her bra on the cover of LA Magazine. Yes. And we know that these voters are older guys. They tend to like babes. Kate Winslet's naked in this movie.
Yes, yes.
So how big of a factor do you think that may be this year?
Well, I don't know if it's a factor or not, because I think that Meryl Streep's her own category there. Don't think I think you have to throw out all those kinds of rules and things when you're talking about somebody like Meryl Streep being here, not the babe, but she's still Meryl Streep, and people say, wow. And Doubt was well liked. Don't get me wrong. It may not have a Best Picture nomination, but it's got 4 acting and a screenplay, and that's very strong too. So along with the Reader. But I do think that Kate Winslet, it is helped. Anytime you're naked, really, it's key.
Now, do we have any parting words from Melissa Leo? Poor Melissa. You got in. I didn't think you were going to make it, Melissa, but you did. Congratulations. You bumped out some big people like Sally Hawkins. Yeah. But
well, listen, if it were just the actors voting, I would say she'd have a really good shot. Yeah. But it's a small, independent movie, and you've got to deal with the Academy at large, the sound mixers, the visual effects people. All of them have a vote in the acting categories, and it'll be a very tough sell for Frozen River to get by.
They're not even going to watch the DVD.
No.
That's the problem. That's the great, dirty secret of Oscar voting is they're so swamped, especially this year. All those DVDs came around Yuletide. Yeah. they're not going to get around to it.
Frozen River was out first, but it was out to the actors branch. I think actors really admire Melissa Leo, but the nomination is the win for her here. There's no question. I do not think she has much of a chance in hell. Independent Spirits, though, go all the way.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So get an acceptance speech ready one way or another.
Yeah, yeah.